a little south of here, but I grew up right down the street on the west side of Jacksonville, 103rd Avenue. So you know what that means. Where did I grow up? I got to get one. Duval. I love it. I love it. Only in America, growing up with a single mom, busting her butt to make it, playing by the rules, went to Stanton College Prep, ended up going to the Virginia Military Institute, still just hit 24 years in the Army, still going as a colonel. And I'm proud to say the first Green Beret ever elected to Congress. But only in this country can that happen. Here's the thing. The left want to take that away. They want to make those decisions for you. They want to take your money, take your freedom, put power in the hands of unelected bureaucrats. I see it every single day in Nancy Pelosi's House of Representatives. If Biden gets in and we don't keep the Senate, the left will run this nation, and I'll be damned if I'm going to let that happen over my dead body. So what do we have right now in our commander-in-chief and Donald J. Trump? We get results and we get wins. Hashtag winning every single day. I'm up in Washington, D.C. in the swamp, and I see it. He is getting more done in 4 years than Biden's gotten done in 47 years. It is incredible. He's taken on China. Now, who do you think is going to take on China? Trump or Biden? Trump. Who do you think gave us veterans reform and gave veterans choice? Who do you think gave us tax reform for the first time in 30 years? Who do you think gave us justice reform that Democrats have been asking for 40 years? Who gave us a brand new branch of the military, the Space Force, that is going to lead the way right here in Florida? And finally, with the announcement coming Saturday, who is going to give us the next conservative Supreme Court justice in the United States? Donald J. Trump, that's who's going to give it to us. Let's go. So let me tell you something. I had the real sad mission leading the search for Bo Bergdahl over in Afghanistan, if you remember that traitor. Let me tell you what life was like in the military downrange as a Green Beret under Obama and Biden. I mean, he was sending us into a fight without the equipment we needed, with a military that was devastated, with our hands tied behind our back with these restrictive rules. All my veterans out there know exactly what I'm talking about. We cannot afford to go backwards in this country, and the number one job of the commander-in-chief, the number one job of the federal government, is to keep us safe. And under Obama, Biden, what did we get? We got China on the march. We had Russia on the march, invading Ukraine and invading Crimea. We had Israel on its back foot with Iran on the march. They were celebrating Venezuela and Cuba with socialism, right? You had North Korea building nukes and doing nothing about it. This is what our president inherited. But he knows that the number one job is to keep us safe. And the biggest thing he has to do is to keep us safe right here at home. So I want all of my law enforcement, all my first responders out there, I want you to hear something from me. I hear it from the president all the time. Our mayor believes it. Our governor believes it. Every Republican in Congress believes it. We have your back. For our law enforcement, we've got your back. And any politician who's afraid to say that, vote them out. Get them out. Thank you. Thank you every day that you wake up and you put on that blue uniform, you put on that badge, and you get between my family, us, and the bad guys. And the least thing we should do is have your back and give you the funding that you need. Refund the police, not defund the police. That's right. Back our blue. Let me tell you something. I just want to tell you about someone who's near and dear to my heart. One of my Green Berets that I lost in combat. His name's Matt Pacino. Matt volunteered to go on point every single mission. Every single time. One day I stopped him right before the mission and said, Matt, what are you thinking, brother? And he said, I'd rather, if they get us, I'd rather them get me than my brothers, my fellow Green Berets. And he kept going. Well, one night, God took him. I think about him every day. I wear a bracelet on my right wrist to remind me of all of those men and women that are no longer with us, but that are out there as we speak, keeping all of us safe. My message to every American is be worthy. Be worthy of that sacrifice. I look in the mirror every day thinking about Matt, thinking about all of them, to say, be worthy. And anybody who says our president is commander-in-chief doesn't support our military is full of crap, because I've seen it. I've seen it firsthand. Let me just leave you with this. We had a deal on our Special Forces team that if one of us didn't make it back, we would take care of the kids. The ones who made it back would take care of the kids of those who didn't. Part of my duty to Matt and the others that I didn't bring home as their commander is to take care of their kids and to take care of their future. And I'll be damned if those kids grow up in a country led by democratic socialists or a world led by Chinese communists. This is a fight for our future. You are the ground soldiers. Get out and vote. Drag everybody you know to get out and vote. Support this president. Support our governor. Support your mayor. Yelling at the television, posting on Facebook, arguing with your liberal relatives at Thanksgiving ain't good enough. Step up and be part of the solution. God bless you all. I salute you. Keep up the fight.
And to close out our pre-program before President Donald J. Trump arrives, please give a warm welcome to our governor from the great state of Florida, Governor Ron DeSantis.
Don't you thank God you live in Florida instead of New York or California? Well, it's great to be here. I thank you all for your support. One of the things I think that's exciting is the momentum that we've been able to develop here in the state of Florida. When the president ran for election in 2016, we had a gap between Democrats and Republicans in voter registration. They were almost 350,000 more Democrats than Republicans. That actually was an improvement on where we were 4 or 8 years ago from there. This has been a mission of ours here in the state of Florida to register more Republicans. And I can tell you as of today, we've taken that gap from a little under 350,000 to under 190,000. So we're registering more Republicans than they are Democrats. And I think that's because the contrast has been so clear now. As important as 2016 was, I got to tell you, this is an important election. You've never seen a political party radicalized so much as we've seen of this Democrat Party over the last 4 years. And just look at the contrast between the president and Joe Biden. Donald Trump is the first president in a long time to stand up to China and to put America first. Joe Biden is a 47-year career politician. Has he stood up for China? No. He's been China's errand boy throughout his whole career in politics. Now, who do you prefer, Biden or Trump? I'll tell you one thing about being able to work with the president is the guy works hard. He is probably, I consider it to be an Energizer Bunny presidency, because he's in North Korea one day, then he's in doing a rally, then he's doing stuff in the White House, then he's doing this. The guy has worked incredibly hard. They're not that much different in age, but if you look at how they behave, it's not even close. So we have a president that's got a lot of energy and that leaves it all on the field on behalf of the country. Joe Biden would be a weekend at Bernie's presidency. This is a guy that ends his day at 8:30 in the morning, doesn't do events, doesn't leave his basement. And here's the thing. It would be one thing if he were just going to be asleep at the switch. That's bad enough. But the people that are going to have control of that White House are going to be these radical left people. The people that are going to control these agencies, like the DOJ, are going to be the radical left. And so we cannot afford a Joe Biden weekend at Bernie's presidency. And I don't know, do you want a Trump or do you want a Biden? Another important thing in this election, and I think this is really completely up or down, yes or no. Do we want to rebuild America? Do we want to get everybody back to work? Or do we want to shut down the country again? Now, I can tell you that the president's working hard to put people back to work. States like Florida, our unemployment rate's gone down 35% just in the last month. We got more work to do, but we're going to keep doing it. Biden said that if the scientists told him to shut down the country, he would shut down the country. Now, this is a political party, mind you, that has been fighting ferociously over the last month and a half to keep kids from being able to go to school in person. They don't want you to be able to go to work. They want to be able to do that. And I'll tell you, if he does that, the country will not be able to recover. So we have the ability to keep moving forward with Trump or a disastrous lockdown under Biden. What do you choose, Trump or Biden? We also have on the ballot this year law and order. You know, if we were talking even 10 years ago, I don't even think we'd be having this discussion. The idea that anyone would be supporting the disorder, the tumult that we've seen in some of these cities. The fact of the matter is, Joe Biden spent months either silent or excusing what was going on as people's businesses were burned down, as innocent civilians were targeted, as people on his campaign were raising money to bail out the rioters in Minnesota. He never stood up and said that he stands by law enforcement. Now he knows the polls have shifted. He's in a bad spot, so he's running ads saying, don't riot, don't do this. He had a chance to speak up, and he didn't do it. And I can tell you, this is not an issue that's going away. President Trump has stood for law and order, and he has the backs of our men and women in law enforcement. So I ask you, when it comes to law and order, who do you prefer, Trump or Biden? And oh, by the way, it's not just the president's responsibility. We all need to do it at every level of government. And that's why here in Florida, when we had these demonstrations and potential rioting in June, I called up the National Guard immediately. We had people stationed by. We're not going to let this happen. But you know what? It's not enough to just play whack-a-mole, to say anytime anyone gets upset, they just get to go out and cause ruckus somewhere. So I introduced on Monday the strongest piece of anti-mob violence pro-police legislation in the country. And it's very simple. You loot, you're going to jail. You throw a brick at a police officer, you're going to jail. You tear down a monument, you're going to jail. If you block traffic or harass people when they're having to have dinner at a restaurant, you are going to jail. And if you have local governments that want to defund the police, well, guess what? Under our legislation, the state of Florida is going to defund you. We are sick and tired of seeing this throughout our country, and we're sick and tired of the way many of these Democrats are treating our men and women who wear the uniform. We're going to stand by our law enforcement personnel, and we're going to be there every step of the way. And so this election, that's on the ballot, but we're going to be working hard in Florida in the meantime because we know how important it is. I also think there's a big contrast for how both candidates view the judiciary and judges. You know, Donald Trump has appointed more conservative judges than any president probably in history, certainly since Reagan. Biden was the leading person in the Senate when he was there to smear conservative judges like Robert Bork and Clarence Thomas. And he assassinated their character. He kept a good man in Judge Bork off the bench. He almost kept the great Clarence Thomas off the bench. And so on that, the contrast couldn't be clearer. Who do you like on judges, Biden or Trump? So now we have a SCOTUS fight, and we got to thank the president for moving forward without delay. And we pledge to support his nominee. And this will be a nominee who's going to side with justices like Alito and Thomas and not with justices like Roberts. Now, who should he pick? Who wants Amy Barrett? I guess in Florida there may be, but we'll see what happens. I got a pretty good idea. And here's the thing. The nominee is going to be somebody that's going to be strong. President will have done his duty. The Senate needs to confirm before the election. Don't dilly-dally. Confirm the judge. Confirm the judge. Fill the seat. Fill the seat. Now, I got to tell you that a lot of people in the Democratic Party and in the media, but I repeat myself, are not going to be too happy with filling that seat. But you know what I say to them? After you smeared Bork and Thomas and Kavanaugh, we are showing you no quarter. We are going to put a conservative judge on the court, and we are going to enjoy your crocodile tears. Final thing I'd say is just this from a personal perspective. If I was just a Florida civilian, if I wasn't holding the governorship, I would obviously be supporting the president. But as governor, I can tell you, whenever the state has needed something over my less than 2 years in office, the president's been right there to deliver, whether it's for hurricane victims, whether it's for senior citizens with prescription drugs, whether it's saving military installations like Tyndall Air Force Base, whether it's helping us build things that we need in Lake Okeechobee, whether it's supporting our coastlines. Every single time Florida has called, the president has answered. And in fact, in less than 2 years as governor, I can say the president's done more for Florida than any president in our history. And so I'm grateful for that, but I'm also just looking to see, the fact is no president has faced as much unified, orchestrated opposition from before he even took the oath of office than this president has. Certainly, I would say you'd have to go back to President Lincoln. This is a president who, the day after he wins the election, the media's #1 job was to get him out of office. That's what they wanted to do. The Democrats' job, they wanted him out of office. The bureaucracy wanted him out of office. He has had to stand up against the corporate media, against big tech, against all these massively powerful institutions, and he's had to take more abuse than anybody that's probably held that office in quite some time. And he does it with good cheer. I bet you there's a lot of people in his position wouldn't be able to handle it. I know that's the truth. And so I just want to say I appreciate him fighting for us. I appreciate what he's had to go through. And just imagine how great it'll be to turn on CNN on election night and watch everyone be so sad that he was reelected. God bless you guys. Thank you.
Governor DeSantis wrapping up his remarks at the Trump rally in Jacksonville, Florida. President Trump is wheels up on his way to Jacksonville. We are live here at the RSBN studio, live in Jacksonville. Liz Willis, Father Frank Pavone will be with you momentarily. Please support us. We are going to be so busy this week. Tomorrow we'll be in Atlanta and then in Newport News, Virginia. So we need your support. rsbnetwork.com/donate. We are a small independent media company. We are at all of these things, and it gets tough sometimes with the staff that we have. So if you're able to do so, please support us at rsbnetwork.com/donate. We appreciate y'all so much. We're going to be live all throughout the night, covering all the way up until the end of President Trump's remarks. And then tomorrow from Atlanta, 1 p.m. Eastern time start, speech on black economic opportunity in Atlanta, and then to Newport News for a big rally tomorrow night at 9 p.m. Eastern time. You don't want to miss it, right here on Right Side Broadcasting. Subscribe to us if you're not already on YouTube. We're trying to get to 1 million subscribers. It may be wishful thinking, but we think we have the ability to do that if you will subscribe to us. We appreciate y'all more than you know. We're going to turn it back over to our hosts. Stand by. God bless. Enjoy the rally.
Hi, everyone, and welcome back to Right Side Broadcasting Network. We are live from Jacksonville, Florida, where President Trump is scheduled to give remarks in just less than an hour. It is an absolutely packed venue here today. We are at an airport hangar. The crowd is outdoors and loving every minute of it. Lots of smiles, and of course, the sea of red hats that comes with being at a Trump rally. We want to say thank you to everyone for tuning in, and we are going to be addressing exactly what's going on, what we're doing here, and what you can expect to see in the next few moments. But first, I want to say thank you to iTarget Pro and talk to you guys a little bit about them. We've gotten so many questions about this incredible product. If you've seen the news, you know lately that innocent people have been falling victim to crime, intimidation. They're being forced to fend for themselves, and that's because the Democrats and the left are successfully defunding the police. When the government can't or won't protect your family, self-defense is the only option. Most of us, especially right now, don't have time to consistently train. Plus, ammo is really expensive. But this is why iTarget Pro was invented. Using their proprietary app and laser bullet, you can now train safely in the convenience of your own home with your actual firearm. iTarget comes in all major calibers, so you can stay sharp with almost any firearm. Today, since they're partnering with RSBN for Jacksonville's rally, you can get 10% off plus free shipping. I'm obsessed with free shipping. If you use the offer code SAVE10, that's SAVE10. You guys, this is the smartest way for you to practice, and it pays for itself in just a few days. That's the letter I, targetpro.com. Again, the letter I, targetpro.com. Don't forget to use offer code SAVE10 at checkout. That's SAVE10 at checkout for money off your order. That way they know that RSBN sent you again. It's so much fun. It's really cool. If you didn't understand some of that, check out their website. But essentially, there's a bullet with a laser. You put that in your gun, and then you get to shoot. But the bullet doesn't actually leave the gun, so the laser does, and then your phone is able to calculate where it goes. It's very cool, very intelligent, very smart, but an awesome idea for a Christmas gift or a birthday gift for anyone coming up. Make sure to go ahead and get those ordered. There's also so many questions about donations and how you can support Right Side Broadcasting Network. I think that's coming from because many people know that we are almost entirely viewer funded, meaning we rely on your donations to keep us in business. And you guys have been killing it so far, so we just need to keep up that momentum as we're leading up to the 2020 presidential election. Things are crazier and busier and more expensive than ever before. This week alone, I think it's something like 5 rallies minimally. So we're actually also covering tomorrow. There's a Black Voices for Trump event going on tomorrow. We'll be covering that starting around noon, live from Atlanta, Georgia. Again, that's Black Voices for Trump, so we're sending a team to cover that. We're also going to be covering the rally tomorrow evening at 7 p.m. in Virginia. The next day, we'll be covering another President Trump campaign rally live from Pennsylvania. So those are the official things on the schedule right now. We are waiting by eagerly to see many more that are sure to be announced very soon. So thank you for your donations that have allowed us to get here at this point, but it is not a time to give up. We are fighting, and this is going to be one of the biggest decisions and elections of our lifetime, so we hope you guys will fight with us. There's a number of ways you can donate and contribute to Right Side Broadcasting Network to allow us to get to all of these rallies with the best team and equipment that we possibly can. The first way is by clicking the $sign in the bottom right-hand corner of the YouTube Super Chat. Again, it's that $sign in the bottom right-hand corner of the YouTube Super Chat. I'm going to be reading those shout-outs in just a minute, so if you've been donating that way, make sure you go ahead and continue to do so, and I'll be able to give you a shout out. The second way is by going to our website. That's www.rsbnetwork.com/donate. Again, that's www.rsbnetwork.com/donate. That is a tried, true, and trusted source. It'll take you through PayPal, so it's really easy. You can use a credit or debit card, and while you're there, make sure that you check out all of our website. Our CEO, Joe Seals, does a great job of taking care of that. The third way, and a lot of people really like this, I always like it too because it's fun to read letters and interact with you guys, is by sending a check. So this is the only non-electronic form of contribution to RSBN, and that address to send the check to is 1550 Opelika Road, Suite 6, Box 344, Auburn, Alabama 36830. Again, that's 1550 Opelika Road, Suite 6, Box 344, Auburn, Alabama 36830. Just to reiterate, you guys, those 3 main ways are the YouTube Super Chat, our website, and sending a check. Every single penny counts, so thank you to everyone who's donated. Again, we are live in Jacksonville, Florida, and the Trump campaign just released a statement regarding America First healthcare. We talked about that a little bit earlier today, and President Trump just announced in his speech earlier today more information on it. Regarding that statement, they said President Trump has a better record on healthcare than Joe Biden, no matter how you look at it. Health insurance premiums went up under Joe Biden. They have come down under President Trump. The president will protect people with pre-existing conditions, end surprise billing, drive down prescription drug prices, help seniors pay for the medicine, and provide affordable insulin and EpiPens for low-income Americans. This builds on his record of success in healthcare, which includes reducing Obamacare premiums for the first time, eliminating the unfair Obamacare individual mandate, expanding healthcare choice, enacting right-to-try legislation, and making real progress in reducing the price of prescription drugs. The president has improved healthcare quality, provided greater choice, and made it more affordable. The fact that Joe Biden even has a healthcare proposal is proof that Obamacare was a colossal failure from the beginning. Premiums went through the roof, choices dwindled, and people suffered under the twin lies that they could keep their doctors and their existing health care plans. Biden's new proposal would lead to a government takeover of the entire healthcare system. and would end with the elimination of employer-provided health insurance for 180 million Americans. He would threaten 1,000 rural hospitals with bankruptcy, leaving millions of Americans without a place to go for serious health care needs. And finally, he would provide illegal aliens with taxpayer-funded health care, again, placing the interests of the people who broke our immigration laws ahead of our own citizens. Joe Biden is selling socialized health care, and Americans won't buy it. Again, a statement from the Trump campaign. I'm going to read something else to you guys really quick if I can find it. I accidentally delete things all the time, so stand by with me on that one. It was regarding President Trump's Florida visit here today. Again, we are totally live, not scripted, so just bear with us while we do this. A lot of people love it, but some added pressure to make sure that we have everything. And I don't know where that email went. It was fantastic. Stand by. All right. Hold on. I know I saw it. Found it. Fantastic. Sorry, you guys, about that. So many emails constantly coming. President Trump is so busy. Unlike Biden, he does not call pool lids at 9 a.m. We get emails all throughout the day, dozens and dozens of emails. But this one in particular I wanted to share with you guys. As President Trump peacefully protests with supporters here today in Jacksonville, the evidence shows his whole-of-government response to the coronavirus and how he's helped Florida families and workers. President Trump fought to give the people of Florida the resources and help they need to combat the virus. The president's Paycheck Protection Program provided over $32 billion worth of loans to more than 432,000 Florida businesses and saved 3.2 million jobs. Over 11.1 million Floridians received economic income payments, totaling over $18.3 billion in relief. The CARES Act is providing Florida with up to $8.3 billion in assistance to deal with the outbreak and more than $2.2 billion in relief so far to 21,808 health care providers in this state of Florida. Florida businesses are poised for a historic comeback thanks to President Trump's economic leadership. President Trump's pro-growth policies, tax cuts, and deregulation built a stronger economy for Florida workers and businesses, and he is doing it again. Over the last 4 months, Florida added back 631,600 jobs following the economy's artificial interruptions from the China virus. Florida added more than 556,000 new jobs in the first 3 years of the Trump administration, including more than 10,200 new manufacturing jobs. In February, Florida's unemployment rate was just 2.8%. During the Obama-Biden administration, the average unemployment rate in Florida was 8%, nearly 3 times that high. President Trump's historic tax cuts and job acts is projected to create over 71,504 new Florida jobs over the next decade. The law also designated 427 Florida communities as opportunity zones, which will drive new private investment into distressed and predominantly minority areas. President Trump kept his promise to negotiate America First trade deals, providing a massive boost to the economy. The president's United States-Mexico-Canada Agreement trade deal will boost Florida's economy and create new jobs in the state, which exports $7.1 billion worth of goods to Canada and Mexico each year. Trade with Canada and Mexico support over 750,400 jobs. The USMCA will boost Florida's agricultural exports, helping the state's farmers and agricultural producers. President Trump is defending Florida's farmers and agricultural producers from China by providing $24.9 million in direct USDA payments to offset the damage of China's tariffs. But Joe Biden's disastrous agenda will decimate Florida's recovering economy and undo President Trump's policy that helped Floridians the most. The horrible trade deals that Joe Biden supported throughout his 44 years in office killed Florida jobs. Florida lost 28,800 jobs due to higher trade deficits with Mexico under NAFTA. Florida lost 115,200 manufacturing jobs between when NAFTA took effect in '94 and when President Trump was elected. Biden voted to normalize trade relations with China, which killed 125,500 Florida jobs due to higher trade deficits. Biden's radical energy policies would devastate Florida workers and their businesses. The oil, natural gas, and coal industries support more than 273,000 Florida jobs and contribute nearly $23 billion to the state's economy each year. Biden's government-run health care proposal endangers the private health insurance that 10.4 million Floridians rely on. Biden's government-run public policy option plan would ultimately kill health insurance plans. Under Biden's government-run public option plan, 15 of Florida's rural hospitals would be at high risk of closing. This would ultimately limit patients' access to health care. Meanwhile, President Trump is fighting to give Floridians the best health care in the world at lower prices. In 2020, the average Obamacare premium in Florida decreased. Biden pledged that charter schools will be gone if he is elected president. More than 300,000 students are currently enrolled in 650 charter schools in the state of Florida. Absolutely incredible numbers. The list goes on and on. That sums up a lot of it, but just another reason to vote red come November. We have so many donations coming in, so thank you. Let's keep that energy up. We have Michael Swan, who said, "Keep America great, donate to RSB," and Wendy Gallarday said, "Liz, you're awesome. Keep up the reporting. Republicans love the network, giving us the truth and news coverage." To RSB, Wendy. Jim said, "Biden." Gail said, "Supporting this great network." We have Kimberly Towan, who donated. Clifford and Karen Prince are praying for President Trump. Susan Parrish is excited for 2020. Rowan and Ron Stein said, "Thank you, Right Side Broadcasting. As Americans residing in Canada, we greatly appreciate the ability to watch all the Trump rallies and love seeing the entire events without missing a beat. God bless President Trump and his entire family, and God bless the United States of America 4 more years." We have Diane Quaylar, Debbie Maddox, Ralph Sasomo, thank you, Castixa, Michael Walters, Ray and Jean Pike, Mohan Aaron, and those are just some of them to name a few. I'm getting Twitter messages again for that code for iTarget Pro. So just to reiterate, iTarget Pro uses a proprietary app. It's so cool. It's a kind of a software and a bullet, but that never actually comes out of your game, out of your gun. So they are our partner for today's rally. It's incredible. When you order an iTarget Pro, they come in all different sizes. So you'll just match it to whichever type of gun you have. You put the bullet in your gun, and you're going to shoot a laser to a target. Your phone is going to already be set up with the app installed, and the app is going to be able to read that laser and calculate it. So in return, you're going to have all this data coming back on how you're shooting. Again, that code is SAVE10, SAVE10. Go to itargetpro.com to check it out, itargetpro.com. It is going to be the perfect Christmas gift. All right. Looks like we have a lot of new viewers. In the meantime, we started with 6,000. We took a break, came back, and now we're around 30,000, I think. So thank you to everyone that's tuned in. Again, this is Right Side Broadcasting Network, and I am Liz Willis. I am here today with a special guest, and I'll let him reintroduce himself for all the new viewers and talk about what he's doing today.
Thanks, Liz. Great to be here with you and with all these patriots. I'm Father Frank Pavone. I serve as director of one of the nation's largest pro-life organizations called Priests for Life. But we're not just for priests, and we're not just for Catholics. We're for everybody that wants to make a difference, bringing an end to abortion, protecting the unborn, which is a great commitment of President Trump and of so many of you. And we join hands with all of you patriots to re-elect this president and to re-elect right up and down the ticket members of the Republican Party, because the fate of America really depends on this at this point in time. You know, brothers and sisters, coming to these rallies, we understand something very simple and yet very profound. And the president says it frequently. This is not just a campaign. This is a movement. It's not simply about electing President Trump. It's about restoring power to the American people. Some of his, well, really all of his critics are so misguided when they think that this is about him getting power. He said from day one of his first campaign This is about bringing power back to you, the American people. And he has shown that in so many ways. You've heard, and we'll hear again from him shortly here, a litany of his accomplishments, and all of them bring power back to us, whether it's freedom to worship the way that we want, freedom of parents to send their children to the school of their choice, freedom of the children in the womb to be born instead of being ripped apart by the violence of abortion, freedom to grow one's business without these burdens of government regulations, freedom to live our lives in security, knowing that he has taken 500,000 criminals and gotten them out of our country, and 20,000 gang members and gotten them out of our communities and out of our country, and that he insists on vetting the people that come into our country. He doesn't want to keep people out of our country. He wants to make sure the ones who come in love our country, respect our freedom and our values, and aren't out to kill us. That's what he wants to do. And by the way, as a Catholic priest, I can say his policy on immigration is very consistent with what our catechism says, because it says, yes, welcome the immigrant, but make sure that the immigrant follows the laws of the country that they want to come into. And the president is doing this. He's working in every possible way to restore power to you. Power to grow in your businesses, power to grow your families, power to be the self-governing people that we were meant to be. The Second Amendment, the right to keep and bear arms. Again, it's about power being restored to the American people. It is such a misguided idea when some people say, oh, Trump, you know, he's a king, he's a dictator. It's exactly the opposite. You want to hear about what narcissism looks like in politics? You want to hear about what a self-absorbed maniac in politics looks like? Look at communist China, where the communist ruler there said not long ago, and has said before, that Christians, even in their homes, have to take the images of Christ off the walls and replace them with an image of the communist leader. That is being self-centered in politics. Not a man under whom the median household income has risen higher than it has ever risen before. You know, you see the statistics, 400 and some odd dollars under President Trump, and $975 through all the years of President Obama was the increase in median household income. And just in the first 3 years of President Trump, $10,000, close to $10,000. What a difference. I mean, this is a man who in every way is restoring power to you, the American people. Now, that's why he says this is a movement, and why he says about his reelection, he says, look, it's not just about me getting back into office. He says, and I love this when he says it, and we'll hear him say it again tonight, we are going to win reelection. We. He constantly identifies himself in union with us as a people. We are getting back into power. And you see the other side of the coin, too. He knows that when his enemies attack him, when 5 days after his election in 2016, I don't know if everybody knows this, 5 days after he was elected, a meeting was held to create the resistance. Numerous organizations, well-funded, got together and plotted and schemed on how to undo that election, how to undermine the presidency, how to do these fake hoaxes, and how to spy on the campaign, and how to conduct endless investigations that went nowhere because they were based on lies. We see the history of this. And by the way, there are a lot of good books that trace the history of this. I want to urge you, friends, because these rallies are meant to help us do something, to do more in preparation for the election. Besides contacting voters, registering voters, praying for the election, I mentioned before electionprayer.com. You can get an election prayer to say every day. But reading, good reading, so that you'll know. Books like Blitz. Have you read the book Blitz by David Horowitz? It's an excellent book, not very long, but very well worth reading prior to Election Day, and you'll be more equipped than ever to talk to people about, as I'm saying, this effort of the resistance to actually undermine the presidency, actually to conduct a coup. It is no exaggeration to say that this has been an effort at a coup against the duly elected president, and that's why there was the fake impeachment. The Democrats did it without any regard for the Constitution or due process or fairness. I mean, not to be able to call your own witnesses, not to know, secret hearings in the basement. I mean, what was this? A partisan impeachment without a proper resolution from the House of Representatives, and only Democrats voting to impeach? I mean, the whole thing was exactly a textbook example of what the founders did not want to happen with impeachment. My point is that the president knows that all these attacks and lies against him, all the attempts to undermine him and his administration, are attacks on you. He doesn't take it personally. You know, this is one of the ways he's able to endure all of this, because he knows, hey, it could be anybody here, but if they're in union with the American people and their faith and their ideals and their love of freedom, well, then they're going to attack whoever's representing them. And it's because of how deeply he's connected with us that he knows he's getting attacked. And so he says to us, hey, we're all in this together. They're trying to undermine my presidency because they're trying to nullify your vote. And that's why we got to speak louder than ever in this election. The voting has already begun in greater numbers than ever, to say this is the kind of government we want. Government of the people, by the people, and for the people, where those who are in power understand that power is service. And this, by the way, is how Christianity has revolutionized politics. You know, in the pagan view of government, they say the law comes from the mouth of the king. The king gets up one morning and decides on some decree that he wants to issue. The people had no input into it. They have no recourse against it. But he says it, and that's the law. But in the Christian worldview, every person has the opportunity to become a child of God. Well, if we're a child of the king, we matter. Our voice matters. And therefore, our voice matters in government. And so this whole idea of representative government comes about and is sustained. The president understands that. He knows it's about you. He knows that power is service. He knows that governments, as our declaration says, are instituted among men and women to secure their rights, not to give them or edit them or take them away. That's why he got elected. Did you know that when President Trump was elected 4 years ago, there were 6 million voters? Well, first of all, there were 136 million voters who came out to vote. That was the largest number of people coming out to vote in American presidential history in 2016. This year, it's expected to be even higher than that. It's probably going to be upwards of 160 million. 6 million of the people who came out in 2016 either had never voted before, or it was the first time they were voting in a decade or more. Now, we know that at these rallies, you know, voters are being registered as they come in here, if they're not registered already. And we know that a lot of these folks, I heard one statistic recently, as many as 1 out of 5 are first-time voters. They haven't voted before. And so these people are continuing to come out. Now, this is one of the reasons why the polls in 2016 were so wrong. They were so wrong because a lot of polls, well, if they're good polls, which a lot of them aren't, but if they're good, they're going to look not just on what people think or what adults say or even what registered voters say. They're going to look at what likely voters say. But the weakness of those polls, even if they're done with that good standard, is that the people who came out to vote for President Trump in greater numbers than ever before were unlikely voters. People who had never voted before, people who hadn't voted in a decade or more. Why did they come out? They came out for the very same reasons I was just explaining. They heard this man speak, and they said, wait a minute. He listens to us. I know he listens to us because he's talking my language, he's asserting my values, and he's saying that I matter and that power belongs with us, the American people. So he connected with the people in an extraordinary way. Let me continue reflecting on this, but for those of you that are just joining us, my name is Father Frank Pavone. I am very, very grateful to Right Side Broadcasting for our collaboration. Our organization is called Priests for Life. We're at prolifevote.com. If you want to check out what we're doing for the election, our ministry is a ministry focused on ending abortion. We do a lot of things. But for the elections, if you want to check us out at prolifevote.com, connect with us there. But what I'm explaining here, friends, is that you saw it in his initial rallies in 2016. The crowds, political experts like Ralph Reed, observed that, you know, when he spoke to the crowds, there was a connection, there was an energy, there was a felt appreciation that this candidate was speaking their language, unlike we have seen in American politics. And this is the reason for his victory. He brings about a new kind of governing. He is not looking to be led by the elite. What he says, you've heard him say it in his speeches, and we may hear him say it again tonight. He says to us, you are the elite. Not the rich and powerful people who are trying to control the strings of our society and are separated from the public and don't listen to their concerns or share their faith or their values. No, not them. He says, you are the elite, the hardworking, patriotic Americans. And, you know, we look at this crowd as we're panning the crowd now, and we see babies, and we see people in wheelchairs, and we see people of every age in between. We see people of every ethnic background. We see people representing the grassroots of America. It is marvelous. And these are the people that President Trump listens to and speaks for and fights for. Two differences between him and a lot of our other politicians on the federal level. Certainly a difference between him and Joe Biden, but a difference between him and even many of our past Republican presidents. And it's this, brothers and sisters, that he is fighting for and listening to the grassroots rather than the establishment. Not only does he listen to us, but he fights in a way that others have failed to fight. It's not enough that a president shares our position on issues or our values or even our faith. Listen, that's not enough, because you can have a nice guy get elected. You can have a person get elected and you say, hey, I agree with them and they agree with me on everything. But is that enough? Or do we need the person who agrees with us and shares our values and occupies the highest office in the land? Do we not need that to be a person that fights for us, fights vigorously, fights proactively, fights, and when he gets attacked, he goes back twice as strong, standing for our values and for our freedom and for our church and for our faith. That's what he does. That's what President Trump does. He'll push back twice as hard against those who push on him. That makes the difference. That's what gets people excited. That's why the enthusiasm gap between President Trump's campaign, one manifestation of which we are looking at right now with our very eyes, that's why this campaign has so much more enthusiasm than the Biden campaign. We know he's fighting for us. It's not enough just to say, oh, yeah, you know, this is my position on this issue. It's way, way beyond that. Now, Phyllis Schlafly, many of you, I'm sure, know that name. She has since passed on, but she was one of the people who founded the conservative movement in America. I was privileged to know Phyllis pretty well, and we got together and met in strategy meetings and had many conversations about the direction of American politics and conservative values. Phyllis was one of the early endorsers of Donald Trump, to the surprise of many in the conservative movement. Do you know what her reasoning was in supporting Donald Trump? Here's what she said. She said, you know, he might not know everything about the various issues that we're going to be urging him to support, but you know what? That's not the main question. The main question is, who's he listening to? And she said, because he listens to the grassroots rather than to the establishment, we can teach him on the issues what he needs to learn because we know he's with us. That, for Phyllis, was the deciding factor. That needs to be the deciding factor, brothers and sisters, for all of us. As we watch this rally, we know that we're part of this rally. Wherever we are in America right now, you and I are called by this rally to do more. By the way, of course, it's a peaceful protest. I love what the president said the other day. It's a protest against stupidity, because so many of the attacks that we get, that the president gets, so many of the positions of the Democrat Party, it really can only be described in that way. And we protest the stupidity that doesn't realize that unless you have borders, you don't have a country. That doesn't realize that, you know, you have to let people pray the way that they want and can send their children to the schools that they want, and up and down the list of issues we can go. But we're called by this rally to do something more. Voter registration deadlines are coming up in a few weeks. At the beginning of October, they're going to start kicking in from state to state. We've got a small window of time, my friends, right now to register as many voters as we can. And there's a special website, by the way, checkyourvoterregistration.com, where you can go and make sure that your voter registration is up to date. And this is a simple thing you can do for your friends, for like-minded people you know, fellow worshipers. Checkyourvoterregistration.com. Go there. Checkyourvoterregistration.com. Make sure it's up to date. You may have registered in the past. Your friend may have registered in the past. But maybe something happened to the voter file, or there's an error, or maybe there was some change that happened in their life, a change of residence or of name, or their signature changed dramatically, or whatever it might be, that necessitates updating the voter file. No harm in checking. Make sure you're equipped and ready to go for voting day, whether you vote early or on November 3rd. We have here an opportunity from morning to night, every day now, the next 40 days, to do as much as we can, not only to register voters, but also to get people to the polls. Because remember, early voting is starting up now in many states. And like I said, our election website, ProLifeVote.com, gives you you can find, for example, the dates where the voter registration deadlines are kicking in and where early voting is beginning, and this is meant to help us to mobilize. Now, I want to say something, friends, about the different signs that you're going to see during this rally. You might see there's a couple of people here holding up signs that say Latinos for Trump. In fact, there was a woman running through the crowd a moment ago. Latinos for Trump, Latinos for Trump. Everybody was cheering. You're going to see signs for Black voices for Trump, cops for Trump, veterans for Trump. What you're seeing here are some of the various coalitions that the Trump campaign has put together. And I want to read a list of these coalitions. It's not exhaustive, but it'll show you what the campaign is doing. And you can find all of these, by the way. I hope you go regularly to the campaign website, DonaldJTrump.com. When you go to DonaldJTrump.com, you'll see a button that says Coalitions. Click on there and make sure you are a member of at least one of these coalitions. As you'll see on the signs, and I'll read the names of the coalitions, as you'll see on the signs of the various coalitions represented here, to join, you text to the number 88022 a particular word that identifies that coalition. And for example, for Latinos for Trump, the word is vamos. Let's go, vamos. And you'll see this pro-life voices for Trump. Now, I served for a while as the national co-chair of that coalition. I was very privileged to be asked by the campaign to do that, as well as serving on the advisory board of Catholics for Trump. And what a great honor it is to help the campaign. But again, these coalitions are for you. Whatever demographic or demographics you identify with, please go to DonaldJTrump.com and sign up for one of those coalitions right today, because they need your help. You'll be kept up to the minute with updates about what's going on in the campaign. And most importantly, like I already said, Every day, we have got to do as much as we can to get more voters. Now, the campaign could use your help making phone calls. They'll train you. And again, on DonaldJTrump.com, you'll see all the different ways to help. They need your help making phone calls. They have lists of people they've already pre-identified as persuadable voters. Maybe, these are not people that you're going to have to argue with. These are people who just need a nudge. They just need a reminder. They need help knocking on doors. Again, they'll train you. In your local community, you got to connect somehow with the campaign. Let me read what some of these coalitions are. Again, DonaldJTrump.com, and you'll see the coalitions button. Women for Trump, Latinos for Trump, Black Voices for Trump, Veterans for Trump, Evangelicals, Cops, Democrats for Trump, Pro-Life Voices, Workers, Irish Americans, Greek Voices for Trump, America's Sheriffs, Catholics for Trump, military families, moms for Trump, Asian Pacific Americans, lawyers, Latter-day Saints, Jewish Voices, Polish Americans, farmers and ranchers, truckers, firefighters, Hindu Voices, Indian Voices, Italians for Trump, German Americans, gun owners, Serbian Americans, medical professionals for Trump, Muslim Voices, Chaldeans, Sikhs, Albanian Americans, Assyrians, sportsmen for Trump, and Ukrainian Americans for Trump. These are some of the coalitions. The campaign is so smart in what they are doing here in giving an opportunity for people of these various demographics to show their support in their unique way. Okay, so I'm going to hand this over for now again to Liz. And what do we have to update our people about?
Awesome. Thank you, Father. We are expecting Air Force One to land in about 15 minutes. So again, plus or minus 15 minutes away from Air Force One's arrival. We did hear earlier from the press pool that we are expecting the big one, in parentheses, when it comes to Air Force One. So it should be the big plane. A lot of people love to see it. Before it gets here, we want to make sure all of you guys have had the opportunity to check out a really cool product. A company was thinking, man, we've seen this happen too many times. Too many innocent people are falling victim to crime, intimidation, and are forced to fend for themselves because of what the Democrats are doing by defunding the police. They thought, if the government's not going to protect our family, we're going to have to do it. We're going to have to rely on self-defense as the only option. They realized also that a lot of us didn't have the time to consistently train, plus ammo is really expensive. For me, that's all true, but also target practice is a lot of fun. This is exactly why iTarget Pro was invented. This is a proprietary app and a laser bullet combined that allow you to train safely in the convenience of your own home with your own actual firearm. iTarget comes in all major calibers, so you can stay sharp with almost any firearm. Today, you can get 10% off plus free shipping with the offer code SAVE10. That's SAVE10. This is the smartest way for you to practice, and it pays for itself in just a few days. That's the letter I, targetpro.com, itargetpro.com, offer code SAVE10. That's SAVE10. This is going to make the best Christmas gift for anyone that is a fan of Second Amendment rights. So my brothers already have requested it, and they're hopefully will act surprised when they get it for Christmas this year. We have a lot of donations coming in. I'm going to take a moment to start reading all of those. So make sure you get that in right now if you want to have a donation in just a minute. Before I do that, there's also questions about how you can donate. And there's a number of ways you can donate with RSBN. The first way is one of the easiest, and that's simply by the Super Chat. So to begin with that one, if you're not familiar, you don't know what Super Chat is, we'll start with YouTube. If you're watching a live video, which is what we're doing here today, we are completely live with Right Side Broadcasting in Jacksonville, Florida. So you'll be able to use the live chat function, which essentially becomes a chat room during a live video broadcast on YouTube. You're able to chat in there. It's a lot of fun, but you can also donate by clicking that $sign. It is in the bottom right-hand corner of the live chat. Make sure you're signed in so you can utilize that function. Absolutely every penny helps RSBN get to all these different rallies all across this great country. And your name comes up highlighted, so it's a lot of fun for others to see and for you to get a shout out as well. Again, when I'm done with this announcement, I'm going to be jumping in on my phone to give those shout outs So make sure you get your donation in now or as soon as possible. The second way is really easy as well. And we actually get to keep the majority of these proceeds as compared to YouTube, which only gives us 70. We get to keep 90% of the proceeds on our website. So you can donate via our website, and that'll be gone through PayPal. If you go through www.rsbnetwork.com/donate. Again, that's www.rsbnetwork.com/donate. The third way is a non-electronic way. It's a lot of fun. You can send a check to 1550 Opelika Road, Suite 6, Box 344, Auburn, Alabama 36830. So just to reiterate those three ways, it's the YouTube Super Chat, sending a check, or by going to our website. Moderators, thank you for being here today. We always appreciate it. We know y'all work so hard behind the scenes, but we do appreciate it. So thank you. And if you don't mind dropping some of those links down below. Reading the chat. You guys help us make sure that you're subscribed to our YouTube channel, please. We are live, for those of you who are new, at almost every single President Trump rally. So if it's possible, if it's physically possible at all, we will be here. We have been to almost every rally, I think, since 2016. It's been a blessing, an honor, and a joy for us. We absolutely love it. We have a couple more this week. We will be in a Newport News tomorrow, live from Virginia. That's going to be a 9 p.m. rally, so it's going to be a rather late one, but we're excited for it. And then the next day we will be live from Pennsylvania. So lots coming up. Again, we are going to be live at all of them. We're sending our crew, we're sending our talent, our equipment, everything we can to make sure President Trump gets the fair coverage that he deserves. I'm going to hop into the YouTube Super Chat. 46,000 people watching right now, so thank you to everyone who's tuned in. Looks like we have Dorinda T, who said, great work, RSBN, go President Trump. 99.99 from Jimmy Lee, who said, where we go one, we go all. We want to unite all as one. Left or right, the more they fight, the more they need help to wake up. Love all from Tampa, Florida. $17 from Frank, who said, I am having magnificent withdrawal. RSBN rocks. Me too. I really thought he'd be here in Florida, but he'll be back soon, don't worry. $100 donation from Miss Lynn Jean, who said, thank you, Father Frank Pavone and RSBN. God wins. Thank you very much. And then Sharon Bergstein said, thank you, Father Frank, for speaking out for the right to life. He is a true man of God and doesn't bow to politicians, but stands for God's word. God bless RSBN and Father Frank. Yes, he does. A very good man. And we have $49.99 from Anti-Constitution. That is most of the super chats that I can see on my screen, as y'all can see with me. And then just to jump into the website donations, because I get those as well, we'll catch up on a few of those shout outs. Alex Hablitzel said, just discovered your channel and you're amazing. Watching now on YouTube, Patriot for Life, Trump 2020. So thank you so much. Really glad you were able to find us. Hopefully it wasn't too difficult. Sometimes we are. And see what Joe said?
Yeah, thank you.
Everyone loves Father Frank. I know, me too. What was I saying? Sorry, someone almost just fell down. I got distracted. Okay, I don't know what I was saying before that happened. Anyways, Janet Springer said, great job, Father Frank, and love and enthusiastic. Your love and enthusiasm for God and President Trump comes through every day. God wins. Rosalind Iapo said, Trump 2020, make America great. Lynn Sweddle said, love RSBN coverage. President Trump is the greatest president of my time. Like Father Frank Pavone too. Joe Marie and Tony said, great job bringing us the Trump rallies without MSM spin. CAG 2020. Ramper Cash, Sobhog donated. Sarah Mariano said, my whole family loves Trump. Ralph Campanella said, God bless Donald J. Trump. Bobby Moore said as well, thank you to Right Side Crew. We have Elizabeth who gave her thanks as well and donated. Raymond Pike said, praise the Lord and Father Pavone for President 2024. As long as I'm like your press lead or something, we can make it happen. Janovec said, thank you for all we do for all family. As my mom said when I was young, birds of a feather stick together. Bonnie Curran said, as a senior citizen, it gives me hope for the future to see such fine young people working at Right Side Broadcasting. Thank you all you do. I never miss a rally. We have Tina for Music, Suresh Chanmugam from Canada. We have Clyde Wells. Georgine says she watches as many rallies as she can, and she always depends on RSBN to be Johnny on the spot. Thank you so much. Thank you, Doreen Cobb, Lisa Coelho, Cheryl Craig, RNL VIP. And that rounds us up to all of those announcements right now. So lots of donations coming in. Again, if you're curious about how you can donate, there's a number of ways. I'll say them really fast. The first way is by clicking that $sign in the bottom right-hand corner of the YouTube Super Chat. The second way is by going to our website. That's www.rsbnetwork.com/donate. The third way is by sending a check, and that you can send a check to 1550 Opelika Road, Suite 6, Box 344, Auburn, Alabama. We are mostly viewer funded, so we do rely on your donations. Sometimes we do have partners, and today is that case. We are partnering with iTarget Pro, so RSBN family, make sure you show them some love, blow up their website, check out everything they have. It's very cool. Whether you think you're in the market for this or not, I would go ahead and check it out. But this is a proprietary app and laser bullet that'll allow you to now train safely in the convenience of your own home with your actual firearm. It's going to come in all major calibers, so you can stay shape with almost any firearm. Today, because they're partnering with RSBN, you're able to get free shipping and 10% off. Again, today you can get 10% off plus free shipping with the offer code SAVE10. This is a very cool gift. It's a proprietary app and laser bullet that'll be mailed to you, and it'll allow you to set it up and train safely in the convenience of your own home with your actual firearm. This is going to be the smartest and safest way for you to practice. It's going to pay for itself in just a few days. It's the letter I, targetpro.com. Again, the letter I, targetpro.com. Make sure that you are able to defend yourself if push comes to shove, because the liberals want to defund the police and take away our firearms, but that's not happening on my watch. Looks like we are moments away from Air Force One landing. Father Frank, have you ever seen Air Force before?
I have not seen it land. This will be the first time. God always brings good out of evil. We had these great rallies on these big indoor arenas, but we didn't get a chance to see the plane land. And now this is
My favorite part.
it's awesome, isn't it? It's so great. I wanted also to mention to our listeners and viewers, they should connect with the campaign also on Twitter. I know you encourage them to connect with you on Twitter. My Twitter is FR Frank Pavone. But the campaign has several important Twitter accounts that people can get great updates every day and retweet them. So, of course, Real Donald Trump is the president's Twitter. Team Trump is another great one. And Team Trump, and then we have the GOP, of course, and then Trump War Room is the other one. So at Trump War Room, at Team Trump, at GOP, and at Real Donald Trump. Friends, please, on Twitter, follow those accounts and spread the things they post every day to as many people as you can, and do it every day. There's also a Trump 2020 app. And on the Trump 2020 app, they have a daily question for Joe Biden. I love that. A daily question. Oh, there it is. Air Force One is landing. It has touchdown, and the crowd is cheering. Our president is with us.
Quick reminder, we are going to be live from Atlanta, Georgia tomorrow around noon for Black Voices for Trump, another great coalition that the Trump campaign is spearheading. President Trump will be there live to give remarks on the economy and other situations that are affecting different minorities, specifically in Atlanta, so you don't want to miss that one. Very busy man. He just came from a health care speech that he gave in Charlotte, North Carolina. We are just talking about social medias and the different way to interact. And one thing Father Frank reminded me about is we are at 19.9 thousand followers on Instagram with our RSBN network account. So I want to make sure we get to 20,000 today. I know you guys can make that happen really easily. So head on over to Instagram and search at RSB Network. Again, that's at RSB Network. Give us a follow and a shout out. If you give us a shout out on on your story, we will repost it so all of our followers can see your page as well. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter as well at RSB Network. Back to you, Father.
You know, one of the amazing things about this campaign, it is a campaign that leads with prayer, And I say that because, you know, as I say, I help various coalitions of the campaign, Pro-Life Voices for Trump, Catholics for Trump. And you know what we do? Every single week, I am asked to join on a conference call or a Zoom meeting to lead in prayer people who are volunteering for this great campaign all across our country. Now, I've never seen or heard of, Liz, a political campaign that leads this way with prayer. It's so intense. And as I mentioned earlier this afternoon, the president was once asked shortly after he took office, what do you most want to be remembered for? And he says, I want to be remembered as the president who prayed more than any other. So we're going to go to Joe now for a little announcement. Joe, God bless you.
God bless you, Father Frank. I want to thank all of the 52,000 or so that we have watching right now on our... There we go. I want to thank all of the 52,000 or so watching right now on YouTube, and I want to encourage you to share this stream. You know, we've been beating mainstream media lately in the streaming numbers, and we are so thankful for that. We would appreciate if you would all share this on your social media, whether it's Twitter or on Facebook. If you do tweet this link out on Twitter and tag us in the tweet at RSB Network, we will retweet you here in studio. So if you'll do that to get the numbers up, we would really appreciate it. President is just moments away from speaking here in Jacksonville. You know, we're going to be so busy. We are going to be, obviously tomorrow you heard in Atlanta and then also in Newport News, Virginia. We got a full crew for that one. It's going to be massive. We've got Liz going there with Grace Saldana, our newest correspondent, and Zoe Sozo will be there. So it's going to be huge. And then, of course, Pennsylvania. I have a feeling we're going to be in Pennsylvania for a while. We're going to be camped out in Pennsylvania between now and November 3rd. We may even keep a full crew stationed in Pennsylvania. That's how busy it is and how important it is for President Trump's re-election effort. The Keystone State is going to be key to winning this election. If President Trump wins that, it's over, in my opinion. It's going to be very tough for Biden to win. And, you know, you heard the story today in Pennsylvania. They're already cheating. You heard the story, the military absentee ballots found, thrown away, the FBI investigation that came out. They are trying to cheat in every way possible. They know that's the only way they're going to be able to win. We've got to stop this. We've got to find it. We've got to root this out. And we've got to make sure that there's a fair and free election. And if that's the case, the president wins 40 states. I think we all know that. If it's a fair election, the president wins 40 states or more because the enthusiasm factor is huge. All right, I'm going to move on and go back to Father Frank and Liz here, just encouraging you all. We can't do it without you. We need your support to continue to beat the mainstream media in these streaming numbers. It is something to behold when you see on YouTube when we are not even in the search results on YouTube. You can't find us by searching Trump Rally Live. That we are still beating the mainstream media as bad as we are. And that's a testament to you, our viewers, and what we've been able to build here at RSB and with your help. We need your help. We have 6 weeks to save America. rsbnetwork.com/donate. That's rsbnetwork.com/donate. Every penny that you donate helps us to continue to go to these events and to help President Trump's message get out and bypass mainstream media. We can't do it without you. rsbnetwork.com/donate. Thank you so much. God bless you. Enjoy the rally tonight. We'll see you live tomorrow from Atlanta and from Newport News. Sending it back to the crew now in Jacksonville.
support you. We've heard that before. 4 more years. We hear that in every presidential re-election campaign. But we love you really expresses what I was explaining to you before. That the success of this president is that he fights for the American people. He doesn't need to be part of or want to be part of the establishment. And one of the reasons we have to give him 4 more years is that it takes time to expose and cleanse and drain the swamp in Washington, D.C. We've got to give him more time to do that. He's been doing it. He exposed all the ugliness of them spying on his first campaign, and he's rooting out people from Washington. Look what he did with the VA. He allowed for transparency and accountability in the VA, where there were bad apples in there. There were people that were working in there that shouldn't have been working there, that were doing so much damage. And because he made it more possible to identify and fire these people, because he made it more possible to do that, do you know that some 9,000 people who were in the VA and were just being abusive and not doing their jobs the right way, do you know that they've been now fired? He is draining the swamp in every sense of the word. Now let me say a word, if I might, as the stairway approaches this Air Force One, and the president will be exiting in a matter of minutes to fire up this crowd and to fire up this whole country. Let me say something about the issue that I deal with day after day, the issue of abortion. The president mentions this actually more than any previous pro-life candidate or president, that look, you know, our first right in the Declaration of Independence is life. And it makes an awful lot of sense. I mean, it's just common sense to say that if we don't have the right to life, then we don't have the right to an education or the right to vote, the right to work, the right to emigrate, the right to be protected from terrorism. I mean, what right can we have, what right can we enjoy if our life itself is not protected? The life of you, the life of me, the life of every person you see in this crowd is protected by law. See, we might sometimes feel like we're not getting everything we need in life. The door is opening, the crowd is cheering. We might not feel like we're getting everything we need, but we know our life is protected under the law. The only group of human beings not protected under the law in their very right to exist are the children in the first 9 months of life, the children in the womb, the unborn. This president speaks for them. And he says we have to restore protection to them under the law. Every child, he said it in his State of the Union address, he says it all the time. Every child, born and unborn, is made in the holy image of God. And this is a biblical teaching. This is a teaching rooted in our Declaration of Independence. This is a truth rooted in our human nature. My friends, one of the key talking points you and I need to convey to the public in this campaign is that one of the big differences between Trump and Biden, between the Republicans and the Democrats, is that the Democrats actually hold that abortion should be legal throughout pregnancy, as it is, in fact, legal throughout pregnancy, and that there should be no limit, no restriction whatsoever, even an abortion on a healthy mother carrying a healthy baby in the 7th, 8th, and 9th months of pregnancy. There is no law on the federal level prohibiting that. And Biden doesn't think there should be. As a matter of fact, he thinks you and I should be paying for the destruction of these babies. Now, here's my challenge to the Democrats. Why don't you're defending abortion all the time, even in the last stages of pregnancy. And friends, if you don't think it's happening, go to exposeabortion.net and you'll hear phone calls that we placed to abortion clinics, setting up appointments for healthy moms carrying healthy babies in the very final months of pregnancy, and you'll hear them say, sure, come on in for an appointment. Listen, the Democrats defend this, and my challenge to them, and I want it also to invite you for it to be your challenge to every single candidate for president, for House, for Senate, for every office. Why don't you describe what you defend? If you look at the medical textbooks that tell how abortions are done, you'll see some pretty gruesome terminology talking about dismemberment and decapitation. That's how they describe abortion, the medical textbook. So we say to Joe Biden and the Democrats, if you're going to defend it, why don't you describe it? Because in their talks, if they mention abortion, they're not going to talk about those words. What they're going to do is use words like freedom of choice and constitutional rights and reproductive justice and health care. Well, listen, we believe in health care and as much as anybody else and the Constitution, but describe what you defend. They're not honest about what abortion is. This is a president that wants honesty and wants transparency. Remember his third debate with Hillary Clinton in the last campaign? He brought this right to her, and this is what we have to do to all of them, and I bet he'll do it again to Joe Biden in the debates. The first one, by the way, coming up this coming Tuesday night. He'll challenge him like he challenged Hillary Clinton. You think that a baby should be able to be ripped from the womb even in the 9th month? That might be okay with you, but it's not okay with me. It's not okay with the Republican Party. It's not okay with the Declaration of Independence. And friends, it's not okay with this crowd gathered here to now greet in a matter of moments the 45th President of the United States, who is going to get 4 more years, not because he's got 47 years experience as a politician like Joe Biden. By the way, Joe Biden was elected to the Senate. I wasn't even in high school yet. It was 1972. This guy has been around the block quite a few times. What I want to know is why doesn't he have more accomplishments? President Trump has a list of accomplishments that it's hard for us to even keep up on. And by the way, go to promiseskept.com to see them. He blows Biden out of the water. And you would think that if Biden has served in the federal government for 47 years, that his list of accomplishments, if you do the math, should be 10 times longer than that of Donald Trump. Well, I'll tell you what, it's 10 times shorter. And why do we think that year 48 is going to be any different from the previous 47? And when you look at the long list of accomplishments of President Trump, and again, go to his website, promiseskept.com, use that in your discussions, you will see that this list of accomplishments is longer than any other administration, and we have no reason to think that year number 5 and 6 and 7 and 8 are going to be any less productive. This man works from morning to night. He works creatively, and he doesn't only fulfill his promises, he fulfills more than his promises. The Space Force, for example, he didn't even think of that during the campaign. He saw a need once he took office, and he filled that need. Now, I want to remind you, friends, this election has got to be about policies, not personalities. It's got to be about accomplishments, not accusations. People who are superficial, they're going to say, oh, I don't like the president's way of speaking, or many people, even folks that are on our side, will often say, oh, well, I don't like his tweets. Listen, I would rather have a president whose tweets I don't like than whose judges I don't like.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the 45th President of the United States, Donald J. Trump.
And I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me. And I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA. From the lakes of Minnesota to the hills of Tennessee, across the plains of Texas, from sea to shining sea, from Detroit down to Houston, and New York to LA, where there's pride in every American heart, and it's time we stand and say that I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free, and I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me, and I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today, 'cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA. And I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free, and I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me, and I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today, 'cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA.
Oh, hello, Jacksonville. We love Jacksonville. We love Jacksonville. I'm thrilled to be back in my home state of Florida with thousands of loyal, hardworking American patriots. This is some crowd. I just wish the cameras would show the crowd. They don't want to do that. They don't like to do that, you know. It's harder for us to win because we have fake news back there, but somehow we just keep on doing it. Isn't it crazy? Isn't it crazy? This is you know, it's interesting. When Biden comes to Florida, he'll have like 12, 13 people. You know, they do the circles. And he has a hard time filling up the circles. Here we probably have 30,000 people or something. That's a lot of people. That's a lot of people. Well, I want to thank you. 40 days from now, we're going to win Florida. We're going to win 4 more years in the White House. And this is the most important election in the history of our country. I believe that. It is because we're dealing with people that are crazy. They're going to raise your taxes. They're going to take away your Second Amendment. You know that. Your Second Amendment's not going anywhere with me, I can tell you that. The Democrat Party has been completely taken over by socialists, Marxists, and far-left extremists. They embrace the policies of communist Cuba, socialist Venezuela. They want to end the American dream for Hispanic Americans. We love Hispanic Americans. Wow. Did you see they released a poll today? They said Trump's doing really well with what's going on with the Hispanic. It took you so long to figure out that I love you. How long did it take? No more of that stuff. No, the Hispanic Americans are great. And you know, they released a poll today, and nobody's ever seen anything like it. The Republicans are beating the Democrats with Hispanic Americans. Think of that. No, we're doing great. We're doing great. And they never like to show those polls. Whenever you see they don't show too many polls, that's only because we're winning. We're winning by a lot. We think we're winning by like a lot. But the only poll that counts is on November 3rd, right? That's the only poll that counts, right? So get out there. Don't let them bluff you, whatever it is. Get out there and vote. The Republican Party is the party of jobs, safety, and freedom, and we will ensure that America never becomes a socialist or communist country. I've added that recently. I said socialist country. I said now a socialist or communist country, because these people are crazy. Kamala. You know, Kamala is further left than Bernie. I didn't know that. She is the furthest left in the U.S. Senate. She was up at 15% when she started. You know that, right? That story? She went down to 14, then she went to 12, then she went to 11. She went to 9 and 8, 6, 4, 2, 1. And then she left before Iowa, the great state of Iowa, where I made ethanol possible for them, ethanol. And I gave our farmers $28 billion. Thank you very much, China. We took it out of China because they were targeting Iowa, Nebraska, a lot of our great states, Wisconsin. We gave our farmers a lot of money. Some came down to farmers down in Florida. They don't know that. We got a lot of farmers in Florida. But here's the choice facing every Florida voter. Joe Biden will deliver a crippling shutdown. He's actually thinking about, can you imagine? No, we did that, and we saved millions of lives. That's it. We're doing good now. And by the way, your governor's done a great job. Florida is down low now in the China virus. It's China virus. Some people call it coronavirus. That sounds like a beautiful place in Italy, right? No, it didn't come from Italy. It came from China. But this guy's talking, he'll shut it down. If a scientist says shut it down, he'll shut it down. No, we're not shutting anything down. We are doing so well. You look at our numbers. Wait till you see the third quarter. I shouldn't say it because back there. But wait till you see how good the third quarter is going to be. And it comes out just before the election. So I'm taking a risk when I say it. You won't believe the numbers you say. I tell you, you're going to see numbers. Nobody's going to believe those numbers. We're hearing from 25 to a 35% GDP. Nobody's ever heard of that before. Well, Iran has a 25% GDP too, but it's a negative GDP of 25. They just announced negative 25. They don't like me too much. Be careful. Be careful. I'm delivering a safe vaccine, and we're doing a record recovery. This recovery is a record. They've never seen anything like it. And next year is going to be, I think, the best economic year in the history of our country. Unless a very sleepy guy got in and he decided to quadruple everybody's taxes, then you can forget it. He's a sleepy guy. Did you see he did a lid this morning? Again, lid. You know what a lid is? A lid is when you put out word you're not going to be campaigning today. So he does a lid all the time. I'm working my ass off. I'm in Texas. I'm in Ohio. I'm in North Carolina, South Carolina. I'm in Michigan. I'm all over the place. Wisconsin. Thank you. But he puts a lid on. So a lid, I didn't know what the hell a lid was. I've only been doing this for 3.5 years, right? But a lid is, you know, you're not going to go out today. You're going to stay in your apartment, or let's put it this way, in his basement. So early in the morning, he's put a lid on. That means nothing for today. I guess they do that for the press. The fake news goes home and they say how great he is as a candidate. They go home and they say, oh, he's a great candidate. But he put another lid on. There are many lids. So he did a lid today, early in the morning, that he won't be working today. And I don't know, I'm working so hard. Maybe he's right. Think of it. Supposing he never campaigns and he wins, you know how badly I'm going to feel? I'm working hard. And you got to work hard. And you know what? I said it today. We cannot have a low-energy individual as our president. We can't. And he's the lowest energy individual I've ever seen. So we'll see what happens, but he's lighting up. Maybe he's going to be great at the debate. You know, he's been doing it for 47 years. Somebody said, oh, he won't do well at the debate. I said, I think you're wrong. He'll do fine. He's going to do fine. They'll give him a big shot or something, and he'll go out there. He'll have a lot of energy. He'll have energy. He'll be like Superman for about 15 minutes. Biden's plan will crush Florida. My plan will crush the virus, and we're doing it. We're rounding the turn. We're rounding the turn under my leadership. Prosperity will surge. Normal life. Oh, I love normal life. We want to get back to normal life. We'll fully resume. The Florida tourism and hospitality industries will reach record highs. That's what's going to happen. You see it. And next year will be one of the greatest years we are going to have. I'm telling you, mark it down. And if I'm wrong, you'll say I was wrong. I'll say sorry about that. But we're going to have a great year. We're going to have a great everything. Our country is doing great. Our military has never been stronger. We've taken out so many bad ones, and hopefully it's so strong that we'll never have to use it. You understand that? You want to make it so strong. We've never had weapons like this. No country in the world ever possessed the power, the weaponry. What we have is so incredible. Nobody's ever possessed it before. Not Russia, not China, not anybody. We're the envy of the world. Hope to God we never have to use them. That's all I can tell you. This election is about jobs. And by the way, speaking of jobs, it's all made in the USA, everything we have. And this election is also about law and order. You know, they said, oh, don't say law and order. That's too tough a term. They say, sir, say law and order very lightly, and then say, and safety and liberty and this. I said, no, it's about law and order. We have to have law and order, right? And these Democrat-run states are a disaster. They're a disaster. You look at what's happening all over the country, and many of them. Look at Portland. How bad is that? I mean, how bad is that? And I will say, last night in Kentucky, I spoke to the governor. He's a Democrat. We had a great talk, and he pulled out his National Guard, and he's doing it good, and I give him credit. I give him credit. But mostly they don't want to do that. I say, let us send the National Guard. I did it in, you remember? Minnesota. We're going to win Minnesota. So I did it in Minneapolis, Minnesota. They were having a hard time. And it took a little longer than we wanted, but we got the okay to get in. We solved that problem in about 25 minutes, I think it took. They formed the line. That was the hard part. The easy part was just walking straight ahead. They never flinched. They were not socially distanced. They were right next to each other. They had $250,000 a piece uniforms. They had more stuff on their head. I'm trying to figure out what is it. They had computers. They had infrared goggles. They had everything. And they walked forward with their canisters of tear gas and pepper spray. And it was, remember the CNN reporter, he went down. He got hit on the knee with a can of, what? Yeah, that's right, he got hit. He said, I'm down. He was down. It's too bad. I felt badly for him, though. He went down. Ali Velci, remember he was standing, and he was saying, this is a friendly protest. It's wonderful to see the lovely people that are here, you know, he's ducking. And behind him, the entire city was burning down. Do you remember that? The entire city. Why are they doing that? What's the purpose of it? I don't get it. But no, he got hit on the knee with a canister of tear gas. They say it hurts. It hurts, you know. And that's only going 52 miles an hour. A bullet goes about 2,000 miles an hour. But they say it hurts. But they cleaned out that city. In a half an hour, they had no problem. Minneapolis, that's one of the reasons I'm going to win. Another reason would be Ilhan Omar. That's the reason. Omar. We're going to win because of Omar. That's a beauty. She's great. She's great. She loves our country very much. She has total disrespect for our country. And I think she has hatred for our country. But I would say Omar is a big reason that we're going to win. They're not too fond of her in Minnesota. I'll always fight for the right of all citizens to live in security and peace. So we have law and order. Joe Biden is weak as hell. He surrendered his party to flag burners, rioters, and anti-police radicals. The Democrat Party's war on police. You know, a lot of people say cops. I never liked the word. You know, my father, sit down, please. Come on, we'll be here for a while. What the hell? We have nothing else to do. I have nothing else to do except run a country. And the hardest part about running the country is dealing with crazy Democrats. You know, We're working on stimulus for people because it's not their fault. It was China's fault, and we can't get Nancy Pelosi to approve it. She wants to wait till after the election. I said, people want their money now. It's not going to have any impact from that standpoint. People want their money now. The Democrat Party's war on cops is putting the lives of innocent police officers in danger. But my father had great respect, always had great respect for law enforcement, for the police. And one time I said, Dad, the cops are out there. Look at that. They look great. And he says, never use the word cops. It's police. That's the kind of respect he had. He thought, I don't want to, right? Look, I have a couple of pretty rough-looking guys. No, it's true. So I always find it a little hard. I just left an impression. It's police. He thought it was slang. And I don't think they mind. I don't think, how many? We got a lot of them here. Does anybody mind the term cops? And who's here that's a policeman or woman? Policeman. Do they mind? A lot of them. A lot of them. Do they mind that term, cops? No. They just want respect, and they just want to be allowed to do their job properly, as nobody can do it. Do you agree with that? That's what I say. All right, now start calling them cops. He said, we don't mind, just respect us and let us do our job. Earlier this month, 2 sheriff's deputies were ambushed at close range in Los Angeles, California. I called them both, and they're okay, but they were hit. They were hit bad. Last night, as you know, 2 police officers were shot in Louisville, Kentucky. Every year, dozens of courageous police officers lay down their lives for people that they never met, people that they don't know, people they never saw in most cases, right? They lay down their lives for people they never met. They're incredible. Law enforcement, let's give them a hand, please. Thank you very much. That's good. I tell them all the time, we have endorsements from all of them, but I tell them all the time, you have no idea how much you love. They don't hear it because they watch the fake news at night, and you don't get the true story. That's a lot of guys. That's a lot of people back there. That's a lot of fakers back there. Look at all those red lights. The red light means you're on live. The problem with being on live, you make a little bit of a mistake, and they say this was a horrible evening. Thank you. That's enough. That's enough of that. No, it's very dishonest. It's a shame. It really does hurt our country. It's so fake. They don't show the protesters. They don't show it. When you think that, like, cities are burning down and storefronts are being exploded, people are being killed, they would have you believe there's nothing happening. It's the most incredible thing. I don't even understand why. No matter where your philosophy is, no matter where you stand, why wouldn't you want to show the facts, show what's happening? And then we fix it. The Republican cities don't have trouble. The Republican states, they don't have trouble. You go to different states, they don't know. They find it, some of these governors, friends of mine, and I have friends on both sides, but Republican governors, red states, they look like, how is a thing like this possible? Because they have law and order. They have law and order that's what it is. For the entire summer, Joe Biden was silent as his far-left supporters assaulted police officers, harassed innocent Americans, and set fire to buildings. They were rioters, they were looters, they were anarchists. He called them peaceful protesters. He said they're peaceful protesters. Joe, they're not peaceful. Now, maybe he may believe it. I mean, honestly, they may say they're peaceful. Okay, I'll say they're peaceful. I think he believes it. I actually do. It's the other ones that you have to worry about because they call the shots, not him. He's called for the ridiculous cutting of police funding, abolishing cash bail, if you can believe that, and the closing of our prisons. They want to close our prisons. That's a good idea. He even described law enforcement as the enemy. He said law enforcement's the enemy. Now, you know, I assume, I'll ask the fake news, has he taken it back, I assume, because he's taken everything back. He's taken anti-fracking back. He's taken pretty much everything back. But remember, it's the first thing they say. That's what they stick with. Biden's anti-police crusade must stop. As president, I will always stand with the heroes of law enforcement. That's why we're here. And I was honored to receive the endorsement of 48 sheriffs right here in Florida 3 weeks ago. And all over the country, law enforcement from Texas, Arizona, Ohio, Oklahoma, Michigan, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, New York's finest endorsed me. They've never endorsed a presidential candidate. The National Troopers Coalition, Chicago. How about that? Chicago police, they endorsed me, Chicago. And all the major law enforcement organizations all across our country. They go back home to mommy, they say, Mommy, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You know the incredible thing about that? I didn't hear anything except our crowd. No, they have no voice. They're screaming at the top of their lungs, but their lungs are very small. And I didn't hear, all of a sudden you hear, whoa, like this right here. It's true. If you wouldn't recognize them, we wouldn't even know they're here. Now, tomorrow, the headline is, so you had one young protester. The headline will be tomorrow, Trump's rally broken up by protests. One very young girl. She's a girl. Am I allowed to say girl? She looks like she's like about 16 years old. How the hell is that happening? 250 generals and military leaders, also hundreds and hundreds of military spouses, have given their complete and total endorsement to our campaign. To uphold the laws of our land and to uphold our Constitution as written, on Saturday I will be announcing my nominee to the United States Supreme Court. It's true. Well, it's going to be a big deal. We're doing it at the White House, the Rose Garden of the White House. Unless it's raining, in which case we'll still do it there. That's okay. It's beautiful, the White House. So beautiful. We love the White House, right outside the Oval Office. And, you know, they don't want us to do it. The Democrats say, you shouldn't do it. Why? We have a lot of time. Let me ask you the one simple question. If it was them instead of us, do you think they'd do it? I think so. Now, this will be a very talented person. It will be a woman. I'm sorry, man. It will be a woman. All right, ready? Who would rather see a man? Oh, that's trouble. Try it again. Who would rather see a man? That's not good. Who would rather see a woman? I think it would be, really, I think it would take tremendous courage. I don't care how great the man is. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to tell you that Jim Fitzgerald, and then you would see a lot of very unhappy faces, right? My opponent refuses to release his lists of potential justices because they will be handpicked by extremists like Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, sometimes known as AOC plus 3, right? AOC. And one of the 3, I think, is Omar, right? But they'll pick the person. So if Biden does that, if he puts an extremist into that position, he loses everything that's like normal. And if he does the other way, he loses the left. So he doesn't want to give a left. I'd love to have him put up a list. I'd like to see I could see what that list would be. I could already tell you the people on that list. It would not be good. It would not be pretty. You would not be happy. That would be the end. If given power, Biden and his supporters would pack the court. You know, they're talking about packing the court because we have won races. We have won. I'll tell you what. So this will be my 3rd, and we're in great shape. Do you see what's going on with the Republican Party? How unified the Republican Party is? Right? No, we're unified. It's a beautiful thing to say. Thank you, Mitt. Thank you. Appreciate it. Even Mitt's on board. Even Mitt's on board. No, it's a good thing to see. Having a unified party. Of course, when they did the impeachment hoax, we had 197 to nothing in the House and 52.5 to a half. That was Mitt. But that's okay. I'm no longer angry at Mitt because he's being very nice on the Supreme Court. He's doing the right thing. I just want him to do the right thing. But they want to pack the court. You know what that means? They want to put on a lot of justices. These are things that are just horrible. I guess we could do that too, right? We could do that too. But remember, it was Harry Reid that made this all possible. You know, they're angry at us. Listen, Chuck, Crying Chuck. You know what Crying Chuck is? Chuck. Every time you complain, remember, it was Harry Reid, your person in charge. He had your job before. It was Harry Reid who made this all possible. Thank you very much, Harry. I hope you're enjoying your evening. No, they blame us. Harry Reid gave us the power. Nuclear option. Thank you, Harry, very much. But he wants to pack the court, Supreme Court, with radicals who will terminate the Second Amendment, confiscate your firearms, eliminate the right to self-defense, strike under God from the Pledge of Allegiance and all other places. Tear down crosses from public spaces and force taxpayers to fund extreme late-term abortion. These far-left justices would release violent criminals, shield foreign terrorists, impose sanctuary cities, and declare the death penalty totally unconstitutional. Hey, it will be totally unconstitutional. They want to declare it unconstitutional for even the most depraved mass murderers. And it's a tough thing. It's a tough thing. They came to my office today at the death penalty for clemency. I said, what was the crime? The crime was so horrible that I won't tell you what it was, but it's been going on for 21 years or so. The crime was so horrible that this person committed that I said, look, I just can't talk about it. It was so horrible. And that's usually the case, like the Boston bomber. And by the way, they want to give votes to prisoners, people in prison. They want to give votes. So we immediately said, remember Bernie, crazy Bernie. Bernie is, I'll tell you one thing about him. He's the greatest loser I've ever seen. No, it's true. No, I mean that in a respectful way. Because what they did to him with Hillary was bad, but this time was even worse. Elizabeth Pocahontas Warren would have left the campaign one day before Super Tuesday. Bernie, with her ideology, basically, because she's a radical left, and she was really fresh to him, but she was really fresh. How bad was Elizabeth Warren to Joe Biden? There's only one person that was worse. Who was worse? Kamala. I said, he'll never, this shows you my great instinct, my great knowledge of politics. I said, he will never pick Kamala because no human being has been treated worse than anybody, than Kamala. Remember, she called him a racist. She called him xenophobic. She called him all sorts of things. She called him things that were so bad I can't say them. I can't say them. But she called him a lot of things. I said, well, she's out. And then he picks her. She picks her. Well, you always pick people going up, not going down in the polls. You know, if I were going to pick, and by the way, how good is Mike Pence? Is he great? Okay, he's a rock. He's a solid guy, and he's a great guy, and a great vice president, and he works so hard. He's all over the place. He's in Michigan. He's everywhere. Where'd you go today, Mike? I went to Michigan, North Carolina, South Carolina. I went to Wisconsin. And the guy, I tell you what, he's an incredible guy, and he's a great guy, and he loves the people of this country. He loves our country. You cannot do better than Mike Pence. You know that. If you want to save America, you must get out and vote. In just 3.5 years, we've secured our borders, rebuilt the awesome power of the U.S. military, obliterated ISIS caliphate 100%, fixed our disastrous trade deals, and they were a disaster. I read some of them. I said, who agrees to this stuff? Stupid people agree to it. And brought jobs back home to America, and we brought them back. You had the greatest year you've ever had last year. The greatest year you've ever had. Under 16 years of presidents, Obama and Bush, household income rose only $2,945. Okay. That's over a course of 16 years, close to $3,000, right? In 3 years, and including energy, because look at the saving. How are you doing at the gas pump? Not so bad, right? Did you ever see that? You ever think that was going to happen? In 3 years, so that was less than 3,000 over 16. In 3 years, you went up $10,000, including energy. We lifted 6.6 million people out of poverty, the largest poverty reduction in the first 3 years of any president in the history of our country. We built the greatest economy in the history of the world, not only here, anywhere. We were beating everybody. You know, for years I heard that China in 2019 was going to overtake us, right? That didn't happen. Then they released the plague, but that didn't happen. And it still's not happening with the plague because they got hit hard themselves. I wonder if they understood that they were going to get hit too, right? But the plague came here. They could have stopped it. They could have stopped it from going all over the world, 188 countries all over the world, including Europe and the United States. We've added a record 10.6 million jobs in the last 4 months, including 3.3 million jobs for Hispanic Americans. That's a record. Both numbers are a record. When the plague arrived from China, we launched the largest national mobilization since World War II. We pioneered life-saving therapies, reducing the fatality rate 85% since April. You see what's happening? Europe has almost a 50% greater excess mortality rate than the United States, and now you see they're being hit very hard. The fake news was saying, well, I don't know if you've done as well as Europe. I said, but they don't want to talk about that because that's not good for their narrative. Our early and aggressive action saved many millions of lives. Through Operation Warp Speed, we developed and distributed a vaccine. We will have a vaccine so soon you won't even believe it. Although they're trying to do a little bit of a political hit. Let's delay it just a little bit. You notice that? Let's delay the vaccine just a little bit. But we have 3 great companies and then others also. Johnson & Johnson, right? Pfizer, Moderna, great companies. All of them great companies. And they're right there. They're way advanced, way advanced. They're in the final steps. I took historic action to get critical relief for American workers through our Paycheck Protection Program. We saved 3.2 million Florida jobs. We're launching a historic effort to bring our medical supply chains back home where they belong. In 1996, Joe Biden voted to obliterate Puerto Rico's thriving pharmaceutical industry. I am reversing that, and we're going back so that Puerto Rico can get its pharmaceutical industry back, and they're going to have it back soon. That was Joe Biden that did that. And then they'll vote because automatically, I don't know, they vote for a Democrat. What's the purpose? He's the one that did it. He's the one. Look what he did, how devastated. Look at what he did to our African-American community, and people don't want to talk about it. But what he did was devastating, devastating. He's not good for anyone, let's face it. Last week, I also announced an additional $13 billion that goes to disaster relief for Puerto Rico. They got hit hard. I hope they remember that. That was given by Trump, not by the Democrats. Our hearts are also with the communities in the Panhandle. I love the Panhandle. Ron will tell you. I'll tell you, you're a great governor, and he's doing a great job. He called up, he said, the Panhandle's it, sir. They love you in the Panhandle. I think I'm at about 99.9% in the Panhandle. But we took care of the Panhandle. Remember Hurricane Sally? That was not good, but we took care of it. Ron came into my office and say, sir, we need more money. I said, how much? He gave me a number you don't even want to believe. I said, you got it, Ron. Don't come back, Ron. He comes back about 3 days later, sir, we need more money. But that's, I guess, a good governor. That's what a good governor does, right? That's what a good governor does. I approved a major disaster declaration for the state of Florida last night. And we will be with you every step of the way, every step. You're there. We're there so fast. We sometimes, other presidents took a long time to approve them. I approve them before the storms hit shore, because we know what's going to happen. We took care of Florida. On November 3rd, Florida will decide whether we end the pandemic and return to record prosperity, or whether we allow Joe Biden to kill the recovery, delay the vaccine, impose a $4 trillion tax hike, ban American energy, which he wants to do, destroy the suburbs. He's going to destroy the suburbs. Give free health care to illegal aliens, which means millions and millions of people are going to pour into our country. And indoctrinate your children with poisonous anti-American lies in their class, in their school. To combat the toxic left-wing propaganda in our schools, I announced something last week that was very popular, that we're launching a new pro-American lesson plan for students called 1776 Commission. We'll teach our children the truth about America, that we are the most exceptional nation on the face of the earth, and you haven't seen anything yet. You see what we're doing. I've also issued an executive order to prohibit the teaching of critical race theory in the federal government. That hateful Marxist doctrine paints America as a wicked nation, seeks to divide everyone by race, rewrites American history, and teaches people to be ashamed of themselves and be ashamed of their country. That's not happening anymore. We fired so many of these wise guys. We had one getting $350,000 a year teaching our military this stuff. And he said, what happened? We said, you're fired, get out, done. Many people. No, it's become a cancer. It's like a cancer. But many, many people gone. They're all gone. And if they're not, let us know and we'll let them go. But we have to unite together as one proud American family. That's what we are. We're joined tonight by some incredible warriors, some incredible people. One of them that I'm most proud of is a man that came to this state, and what a job he's done. Your great governor, Ron DeSantis. He's doing a great job. Ron is doing a great job. Ron, how are we doing in the election? How are we doing on November 3rd, Ron? Okay, he says good. We better do good. Well, he won a great primary, and then he beat a man that they said had a good future. I'm not thinking his future's looking too good right now. How's his future? I don't think it's too good right now. Ron was great, tough and strong, and he didn't choke under pressure, that's for sure. But much more important than Ron is the First Lady of Florida, Casey DeSantis. The mayor of Jacksonville, a really good guy. I got him to he wanted to do it so bad. We wanted to have our Republican National Convention right here in Jacksonville, but the timing was a little bit bad. We got hit a little bit with COVID, as they say. We got hit a little bit with the China virus. But I'll tell you what, Lenny Curry was absolutely fantastic. Your mayor, Lenny Curry. All right, you ready? Some of the greatest, toughest warriors you'll ever meet during the impeachment hoax, they said this is the biggest pile of crap you've ever seen. I'm the only guy in history that got impeached for an absolutely perfect conversation. It was perfect. We sent it around. Everyone said, what's wrong with this? We sent it to the Justice Department. Please check this. Thank goodness we had people that were taking it down, right? Exact notes. Great patriots. They took it down, 2 of them, and it was perfect. We sent it to the Justice Department. Please examine this conversation. We'd like to know what you think. They called back. They said, okay, listen, what exactly are you looking for here? You know, these guys are used to looking at killings and drug dealers, and they're saying, explain to us, what are you looking for? We don't see anything, you know. This was the greatest hoax. And today, by the way, you see what happened? They caught him. They've got him cold. They got him cold. We'll talk about it in a second. They caught him. They now find out that Trump was 100% truthful. It was a hoax. They got him cold. It was just announced. Dan Scavino just said it's the biggest, it's the hottest thing on the internet. They got him cold. We'll talk about it in a second. But these are warriors. When I needed warriors, I had them. Representative Matt Gaetz. Where's my Matt? What a great guy. What a guy. Big future. Thank you, Matt. What a warrior. Thank you. But he's very shy on television, right? I noticed. He's great. Thank you, Matt. Ted Yoho. Ted. Ted. Where's Ted? Great job. Now, you know, a man that is in charge of all spying. He was so good that Matt and Ron and Ted and Mike Waltz and a lot of people came to see me. Mike, another great one. Thank you, Mike. Is John Rutherford here? Where is he? Where is he? What a good job, John. Thank you. Thank you for the help. Thank you, John. But Mike Waltz has been so great. And candidate for Congress, Kat Kamak. Kat. So Kat was in the Oval Office yesterday, right? And I said, how are you doing, sir? I'm up 42. I said, 42 what? 42 points. That was a big Trump district, right? You're not in any real trouble, that's for sure. She's got, that was a great win you had. She'll be with us a long time, a long time. I really appreciate it. And we also have some others that are running for different offices in the Republican Party, and we love the Republican Party. They have been incredible. They have been incredible. We also have some of our really unbelievable undercover operatives. And if you don't mind, I won't introduce them. All right? I don't think we're going to introduce them. I want to so badly. I want to have them stand up, bring them up here. I want to hug them and kiss them, which I'm not allowed to do because of social distancing. But somehow they may lose some effectiveness if I introduce them. So they're in the crowd. I saw two of them, and I won't bother, but they are great, great champions of our country. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And also, here is a woman who was she was tough. She was in charge of a great state, Michigan, and she kept asking me, come back, you're going to win. Everyone said, you know, Republicans hadn't won Michigan in many decades. And I felt I should, because I was bringing back, and I was doing so much for the business and jobs and bringing people back and recommending and telling them you're losing your business to Mexico, Canada. And they gave me, 12 years ago, they gave me the Man of the Year in Michigan, and I made this crazy speech that I said, you're losing all your jobs to Mexico. And all of a sudden, I'm running for office, and a woman who handled it was unbelievable. She'd say to me, sir, would you please come and make a speech? I said, who are you? My name is Ronna McDaniel. I'm in charge of Michigan. Where's Ronna? She said, my name is Ronna McDaniel. I'm in charge of Michigan. I said, I hear we don't have a chance. We should win Michigan, but I hear you're going to win it if you come here. So I went and made a speech. Then I went and made another speech. Then she'd call again and again. I couldn't take it. And then I said, look, I'll do one more. She wanted me to do one more. She said, I'm telling you, you're going to win. Do one more. This is 2 weeks left. And I said, all right, this is it, though. This is it. You know, I've devoted a lot of time to Michigan, and everyone says you can't win. By the way, we just got a poll. We're 3 points up in Michigan. She said, sir. Then she used to call me Mr. Trump. I wasn't president yet. She said, sir, please, just this one time, this is it, three weeks out. I said, all right, this is it. Can't do anymore. Got to go to a lot of states. That's it. This is it, sir, I promise. So I did it. Then the night before the election, she said, sir, you're going to win Michigan, but you got to make one more stop. I said, you got to. And I made it on election day. I arrived at 12:15 in the now morning. That was now election day, right? I started speaking at 1 o'clock in the morning on election day. My wife said, are you crazy? We had 32,000 people. And the reason I went, she wanted us there, but we found out that crooked Hillary Clinton, Barack Hussein Obama, and Mrs. Obama, and Bill Clinton were traveling to Michigan unexpectedly because, as Bill Clinton told them 3 months ago, you're going to have trouble with Trump in Michigan. They don't want to listen to him, you know. They said, oh, well, because he's a natural politician. And he said, you're going to have trouble in Wisconsin, too, and be careful of Minnesota. This was Clinton. Remember, they were laughing. They thought he was very funny. But they knew they were in trouble, so they flew there. They had 500 people. I went there, and I started speaking at 1 in the morning with 32,000 people in Grand Rapids. Grand Rapids. In Grand Rapids. And I said, it's like this. I said, we're not going to lose this state. You can't lose. When you have a crowd, you can't lose. You know, you can look at a crowd. I can look at this crowd. I can say, look at it as far as the eye can see. As far as the eye can see. I'd leave here, I'd say, we're not losing Florida. I can tell you that. You can tell. You can feel it. You can feel it. You have an instinct. We're joined as well by a group of incredible supporters who have recently walked away from the Democrat Party. They walked away from the Democrat. They just registered as Republicans. Thank you. Thank you. And they're going to be voting for us. They just a whole big group of people, and I thank you. And you're all over the place. And thank you. Thank you. They know. It's called, they're smart, and they have common sense. We've spent the last 4 years reversing the terrible damage Joe Biden inflicted over the last 47 years. Together, we've taken on a corrupt and broken system that's been throwing everything at us from the very beginning. And remember this, and I say it all the time, I've done more in 47 months than Joe Biden's done in 47 years. That's true. That's true. That's true. But today, a trove of text messages was released from the FBI agents involved in the Russia witch hunt. You had to see this. This is what I was talking about before. The headline from the Federalist reads, "Trump was right. Explosive new FBI texts detail internal furor over handling of the Crossfire Hurricane investigation." That was the name. We caught him. We had him before this, but this is like, remember the insurance policy? Darling, darling, oh, I love you so much, darling. She's going to win, isn't she? Yes. 100 million to 1. That's not good odds for me. They might not have been great, but they were a lot better than that. 100 million to 1, Lisa. I love you so much. But if for some reason she doesn't win, we have an insurance policy. That's what we've been living through, their insurance policy. You can't be any more obvious than that. These people are scum. They were trying to do a coup. Who would think? And we caught them before that. We caught them spying on our nation. And they've gotten caught. Let's see what happens with them now. But this was a big day. This was a big day. Never forget, they are coming after me because I am fighting for you. There's a lot of truth to that. For decades, our politicians spent trillions of dollars rebuilding foreign nations, fighting foreign wars, and defending foreign borders. But now we are finally protecting our nation, rebuilding our cities, and we are bringing our jobs, our factories, and our troops back home to the USA. Joe Biden championed every globalist betrayal of America for 47 years. He was a cheerleader for NAFTA, the worst trade deal ever made, emptied out your factories. And he was a cheerleader for China's entry into the World Trade Organization. I took the toughest ever action to stand up to China's rampant theft of American jobs. And I proudly signed a historic executive order making it official government policy to buy American and hire American. By the way, you ever see this guy? He's using my slogans. He's using my slogans. I saw him the other day. It's like, buy American. I said, I've been saying that for 5 years, right? He's using my, he has no clue, I'm telling you. You got to come up with your own slogans, Joe. We invested $2.5 trillion in the U.S. military and launched the first new branch of U.S. Armed Forces in nearly 75 years after the Air Force, the Space Force. Right here. We passed VA choice and VA accountability. Nobody thought that could happen. We have a 91% approval rating in the VA, right? 91% approval rating. Highest in history, highest ever. You ever see, I don't want to say this to them because they'll find a vet. Is there an unhappy vet someplace? 91% approval. Remember, we used to always watch every night, you see things on the news about how badly the vets are treated. Now we have a 91% approval rating. My guys are doing a great job. And today I can announce that the VA is approving a new $46 million lease for a brand new veterans health care clinic in North Jacksonville. We killed the founder and leader of ISIS, al-Baghdadi. We took out the world's #1 terrorist, all over the world, #1. The mass murder of American troops and many others. Qasem Soleimani is dead. Took him out. He deserved to be taken out. We withdrew from the last administration's disastrous Iran nuclear deal, $150 billion. You know what he got for it? Nothing. $1.8 billion in cash. He got nothing. Nothing. I kept my promise, recognized the true capital of Israel, and opened the American embassy in Jerusalem. I also recognized Israeli sovereignty over the Golan Heights And instead of endless war, we are forging peace in the Middle East. You saw what is happening there. In fact, I was nominated for 2 Nobel Peace Prizes last week. You know the story. You know the story. And I told our great First Lady, I said, First Lady, I was nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize. I'm going to come home early. I'm going to watch it on NBC News, which is one of the biggest scam jobs I've ever seen. NBC, probably worse than CNN, NBC. But we're going to watch it. We're going to watch the evening news. So we'll watch second place NBC. You know, it is the second place. They spend all this money on PR, and then I hit them hard. But they are bad. I said, First Lady, wait till you see it, Nobel Peace Prize. This will definitely be the biggest thing. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, NBC News. They start off with you. They said you had some heavy rain. They started off with something else, something else, something else, something else. Now the show's almost over. I said, First Lady, they're not mentioning the Nobel Peace Prize. This is very embarrassing. But then it was okay because 2 days later I got nominated again. That was for Israel. I got nominated again. And I remember when Obama got, they said, ladies and gentlemen, Barack Hussein Obama has just been nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize. So what happened? I said, First Lady, I just got nominated again, this time for Kosovo, Serbia. They're not killing each other anymore. I stopped it. It's totally different. The first was Israel, right? Bahrain, UAE. This one was Kosovo, totally different in the world. I don't know if that's ever happened before. I said, First Lady, let's give it another shot. We watched the news, never even mentioned. When Barack Obama got his Nobel Prize, like immediately after he got elected, they asked him, why did you get it? He had no clue. Nobody knew. Nobody knew. And it was a big story. Breaking news. We have breaking news. They didn't have breaking news when I got it, but that's why we understand the press. We understand them very well. They're fake. The last administration made a pathetic one-sided deal with a Castro dictatorship that betrayed the Cuban people and enriched the communist regime. My opponent stands with socialists and communists. I stand with the proud people of Cuba, Nicaragua, Venezuela, in their righteous struggle for freedom, and you're going to win it very soon. You're going to win that very soon. The last administration also negotiated the terrible Obama-Biden-Santos deal with Colombian drug cartels. They surrendered the narco-terrorists. They surrendered to them, and they caused illicit drug production to soar. Under my administration, we worked with our Colombian partners to launch a historic rival operation against the drug traffickers. And since April, we have seized or disrupted 227 metric tons of poisonous narcotics. Nobody has ever done anything like it. Joe Biden opposed the mission to take out Osama bin Laden. He opposed killing Soleimani. He voted for the Iraq war. He backed the disastrous Iran nuclear deal. And he cheered for the rise of China as a positive development for our country. I don't think so. That was a disaster. Now Biden's put forward the most dangerous and extreme platform of any major party nominee in history. The bad news is he doesn't even know what the hell it is. The Biden plan would destroy Social Security and destroy protections for pre-existing conditions. It will drain your Medicare by giving free health care to illegal immigrants that will come over to this country by the millions when they see this. End virtually all immigration enforcement and impose totally open borders. He would terminate our travel bans on jihadist regions. Remember I got that approved? They kept saying, oh, he lost, and then I won in the Supreme Court. We have a travel ban, guess what? And increased refugee admissions by over 700%, opening the floodgates to radical Islamic terrorism. He wants to ban school choice and ban charter schools, which are absolutely imperative for our children. In a second term, I will provide school choice to every parent in America. A vote for Republicans is a vote for safe communities, great jobs, and a limitless future for all Americans. And in conclusion, over the next 4 years, we will make America into the manufacturing superpower of the world, and we will end our reliance on China once and for all. We will make our medical supplies right here in the United States. We will hire more police, increase penalties for assaults on law enforcement, and we will ban deadly sanctuary cities. We will defend the dignity of work and the sanctity of life. We will uphold religious liberty, free speech, and the right to keep and bear arms. Second Amendment. We will strike down terrorists who threaten our citizens, and we will keep out of America, of our great country. We will stay away from those ridiculous, endless foreign wars. They never end. Endless foreign wars. They're all coming home. They're all coming home. We will maintain America's unrivaled military might, and we will ensure peace through strength, and nobody has strength like we have strength. Peace through strength. We will end surprise medical billing, require price transparency, and further reduce health insurance premiums and the cost of prescription drugs. They're going to be coming down by 30, 40, 50, 60, 70%. Favored nations. Favored nations laws. We'll be paying as low as anybody in the world. It's called favored nations. Nobody had the guts to do it. And they are spending a lot of money on ads against me right now. That big pharma. They are spending a lot of money. We will strongly protect Medicare and Social Security, and we will always protect patients with pre-existing conditions. America will land the first woman on the moon, and the United States will be the first nation to land an astronaut on Mars. Thank you. That's really nice. I had such a nice life before doing this. But no administration has ever done in the first 3.5 years, not even close, what we've done. And that's very gratifying. I want to tell you that. And thank you very much. We will stop the radical indoctrination of our students and restore patriotic education to our schools. We will teach our children to love our country, honor our history, and always respect our great American flag. Right? And we will live by the timeless words of our national motto, "In God we trust." For years you had a president who apologized for America. Now you have a president who is standing up for America and standing up for the great people of Florida. So get your friends, get your family, get your neighbors, get your co-workers, and get out and vote. We have to win this election. Most important election we've ever had. Early voting has already begun. Don't wait. Vote. It's safe. Go out and vote. Here we're doing very well, by the way. That's what the word is. We'll see. We'll see. But I hear we're doing very well. From Tampa to Tallahassee, from Orlando to Miami, from Pensacola to right here in Jacksonville. We stand on the shoulders of Florida patriots who gave their blood, sweat, and tears for this beloved nation. We inherit the legacy of American heroes who crossed the oceans, blazed the trails, settled the continent, tamed the wilderness, dug out the Panama Canal, laid down the railroads, raised up the skyscrapers, won 2 world wars, defeated fascism and communism. And from here, in this beautiful, beautiful state, this sun-drenched state of Florida, we launched American astronauts to the moon. We made America into the single greatest nation in the history of the world, and the best is yet to come, you watch. Proud citizens like you helped build this country, and together we are taking back our country. We are returning the power to you, the American people. With your help, your devotion, your drive, we are going to keep on working, we are going to keep on fighting, and we are going to keep on winning, winning, winning. We are one movement, one people, one family, and one glorious nation under God. And together with the incredible people of Florida, we will make America wealthy again. We will make America strong again. We will make America proud again. We will make America safe again. And we will make America great again. Thank you, Florida. Thank you, Florida.
President Donald J. Trump wrapping up his remarks in Jacksonville, Florida. You heard the man, Florida. Get out and vote. This is the most important election of my lifetime and possibly ever in the history of this great nation. It is at stake, and we have 6 weeks to save her. So get out and work hard, and let's do this. If it's a free and fair election, the president wins 40 states at least. I really believe that. I've seen the enthusiasm across this country. We've been doing this now for 5 years, including 2016. The enthusiasm was high then, but never like I've seen it now. It's incredible, and the president is fired up and ready to go. If you are not subscribed to us yet, please hit